The Terran exploration vessel Hyperion drifted silently through the asteroid field at the edge of known space, its advanced sensors probing the darkness for anything of interest. Captain Maya Chen stood at the bridge's observation window, her dark eyes reflecting the distant stars as she contemplated their 3-year mission to chart the unexplored regions beyond humanity's borders. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," Lieutenant Sarah Harrison called from her sensor station. "It's faint, but there's definitely an energy signature coming from bearing 047 Mark 23. It's like nothing I've ever seen before." Maya turned from the window. Her interest piqued. After months of routine surveys, anything unusual was worth investigating. "Can you get a visual?" "Negative, but whatever it is, it's big. At least cruiser-sized, maybe larger." "Take us in closer, Helm." "Nice and easy." Maya settled into her command chair as the Hyperion changed course. She'd learned long ago that anything unexpected in deep space could be either an amazing discovery or a deadly trap. As they approached the source of the energy signature, the ship's external cameras began picking up a shape in the darkness. It was indeed a vessel, but its design was completely alien, organic curves and crystalline structures that seemed to flow together in impossible ways. The ship appeared to be adrift, its hull scarred with what looked like weapons damage. "Life signs?" Maya asked, studying the strange vessel. "Yes, but they're extremely weak. I'm reading about 30 individuals, all in what appears to be some kind of suspended animation." Harrison's fingers flew across her console. "Captain, they're dying. Whatever system was keeping them in stasis is failing." Maya didn't hesitate. "Prep medical bay for multiple alien casualties. Commander Walsh, assemble a boarding team. Full containment protocols, but remember, this is a rescue mission." Within 20 minutes, Maya stood in the Hyperion's largest cargo bay with the boarding team, watching as the first of the stasis pods was carefully transported aboard. The pod's crystalline surface was clouded with frost, but through it she could make out a humanoid figure with iridescent skin and delicate, almost ethereal features. "Amazing," Dr. Elena Santos, the ship's chief medical officer, breathed as she scanned the pod. "Their biology. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. But they're definitely alive, and definitely intelligent." The process of transferring all 30 pods took hours of careful work. As the last one was secured, Maya received word from the engineering team that had boarded the alien vessel. "Captain, you need to see this," Chief Engineer Marcus Rodriguez reported. "We found their ship's log. Well, you should see for yourself." The alien vessel's database contained visual records that told a haunting story. The beings they'd rescued were called the Unwavering, a species that had once inhabited a dozen worlds across a distant sector of space, but they had been systematically hunted to near extinction by a militant species known as the Kresh. Enormous, heavily armored beings who saw all other spacefaring races as threats to be eliminated. This ship contained the last surviving members of the Unwavering scientific and cultural elite, placed in stasis in a desperate bid to preserve something of their civilization. They had been drifting for over 50 years, hoping to find sanctuary beyond the Kresh Empire's reach. As Maya watched the final log entry, recorded by the Unwavering ship's captain moments before entering stasis, she felt a deep resolve settle over her. The alien's words, though spoken in a language she couldn't understand, carried unmistakable emotion, hope, desperation, and a plea for help that transcended species. "Dr. Santos," Maya called over the comm. "How soon can we safely revive them?" "We've stabilized their stasis pods and tied them into our power systems. Give me 12 hours to fully analyze their physiology and set up proper life support protocols. We can't rush this." "Agreed. Keep me updated." Maya turned to her first officer, Commander David Walsh. "Contact Earth Command. They need to know what we found and what's coming." Walsh raised an eyebrow. "The Kresh." Maya nodded grimly. "If they've hunted the Unwavering this far for this long, They won't stop now, and I won't let these people die after surviving so much. Humanity just got involved in someone else's war. As if in response to her words, one of the stasis pods began to hum with increasing intensity. Through its crystalline surface, Maya could see the occupant's eyes beginning to open, ancient eyes that held both wisdom and fear, about to see their first glimpse of either salvation or doom. The first contact between humanity and the Nuvari was about to begin, and with it, a chain of events that would change the course of both civilizations forever. The first Nuvari to awaken was their chief scientist, Lyra Val. Her iridescent skin shimmered under the medical bay lights as she took in her surroundings with eyes that seemed to hold galaxies within them. Dr. Santos had managed to decrypt enough of their language database to establish basic communication, though the neural interface they'd rigged was far from perfect. "You saved us." Lyra's translated words carried both wonder and disbelief. She looked at the humans gathered around her bed, so different from her own people, yet their concern was unmistakable. "We found your ship adrift," Maya explained, keeping her voice gentle. "Your stasis systems were failing. We couldn't just leave you there." Lyra's expression darkened. "The Creche. They will come. They always come. You've put yourselves in danger by helping us." "Tell me about them," Maya requested, pulling up a chair beside the alien's bed. "We need to know what we're dealing with." Over the next hour, Lyra painted a terrifying picture of their pursuers. The Creche were a species engineered for war, their bodies covered in natural armor plating that could withstand vacuum. They believed in absolute dominance, viewing any technologically advanced species as a potential threat to be eliminated. The Nuvari, with their mastery of crystalline technology and profound understanding of quantum mechanics, had been particularly threatening to them. "We were peaceful," Lyra explained, her voice heavy with memory. "We built, we explored, we learned. When the Creche first appeared in our space, we tried to welcome them." She closed her eyes. "They responded by destroying our outermost colony world. 3 million dead in a day." Commander Walsh, who had been quietly listening, stepped forward. "How many worlds did you lose?" "All of them. 12 worlds, billions of people. We tried to fight back, but we were scientists, not warriors. The 30 of us here," her voice broke, "we carried the last seeds of our civilization. Our art, our history, our technology. Everything we could preserve before the end." As if on cue, the Hyperion's alert system blared to life. "Captain to the bridge." Lieutenant Harrison's voice carried urgency. "Long-range sensors just picked up something big." Maya rushed to the bridge, leaving Dr. Santos with Lyra. The main view screen showed a massive contact emerging from faster-than-light travel at the edge of their sensor range. Its design was brutally functional, all sharp angles and weapon emplacements. "Creche?" Maya asked, though she already knew the answer. "Has to be," Harrison replied. "Configuration doesn't match anything in our database. They'll be in weapons range in 40 minutes. Maya's mind raced. The Hyperion was an exploration vessel, well armed for its class, but not designed for heavy combat. They couldn't outrun the Creche ship. Its mass readings suggested significantly more powerful engines. Fighting would be suicide. "Get me Earth Command, priority channel," she ordered. "And wake up more of the Nuvari. We need their expertise." The next 30 minutes were a blur of activity. As Maya coordinated with Earth Command, more Nuvari were carefully brought out of stasis. Among them was their security chief, Talon Wren, whose military experience proved invaluable. "Your weapons won't penetrate their armor," he warned, studying the sensor readings of the approaching vessel. "But we might have something that can help." He turned to Lyra, speaking rapidly in their native tongue. She nodded and rushed to the cargo bay where their salvage technology was stored. "That's a scout ship," Talon explained to Maya. "Large for your standards, but small for them. They use these to track down prey before calling in their war fleets. If they report finding us, then we need to make sure they don't report anything." Maya finished. She turned to her crew. Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat. Lyra returned with what looked like a crystalline sphere, its surface etched with complex patterns. A prototype weapon, she explained. It creates a localized quantum disruption field. We never perfected it, but it's better than nothing. Maya nodded. How do we use it? As Lyra explained the device's operation, Maya couldn't help but reflect on the irony of the situation. Humanity's first major interstellar conflict wouldn't be fought for territory or resources, but to protect a species they'd just met from extinction. Yet somehow it felt right. If humanity was to make its mark on the galaxy, what better way than by standing up for those who couldn't stand alone? The Kresh vessel grew larger on their view screen, its weapons already charging. Maya knew the next few minutes would determine not just their fate, but potentially the course of human history. They were about to show the galaxy exactly what humanity was made of. All hands, she announced shipwide, prepare for battle. Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for the right of all species to exist free from tyranny. Whatever happens next, let's show these bullies that picking on the peaceful was their last mistake. The Kresh scout ship loomed before them, a dark monolith against the star-filled void. Maya studied the tactical display as Lyra and her engineering team worked to integrate the quantum disruption device into the Hyperion systems. They had less than 10 minutes before the enemy would be in firing range. Their targeting systems are active, Harrison reported from her station. They're charging what appears to be some kind of plasma-based weapon system. Chief Engineer Rodriguez's voice crackled over the comm. Captain, we've managed to hook up the unwavering device to our power grid, but there's a problem. The energy requirements are massive. We'll only get one shot at this. Then we'll make it count, Maya replied. She turned to Talon, who stood beside her studying the enemy vessel. Any weak points we should know about? The unwavering security chief pointed to several locations on the tactical display. Their shield generators are here and here. The armor is weakest at these junction points, but their weapons will tear through your shields long before you can cause any significant damage through conventional means. As if to emphasize his point, the Kresh ship fired a warning shot, a lance of bluish energy that passed less than a kilometer from the Hyperion's bow. The message was clear: surrender or die. They're broadcasting, Harrison announced. The bridge speakers crackled with a harsh, mechanical translation. Human vessel, you harbor fugitives marked for extinction. Surrender them immediately or be destroyed. You have 2 minutes to comply. Maya stood from her command chair, her voice steady as she responded. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth exploration vessel Hyperion. The beings aboard this ship are under our protection. Any action against them will be considered an act of war against humanity. The response was immediate. Another plasma blast, this one grazing their shields and causing the ship to shudder. Shields at 60%. Harrison called out. All hands, brace for combat maneuvers, Maya ordered. She turned to Lyra. Is the device ready? The unwavering scientist nodded, her iridescent skin pulsing with nervous energy. Yes, but we'll need to get much closer for it to be effective. Within their shield perimeter. Maya's lips curved into a determined smile. Close range it is. Helm, plot an attack vector. Engineering, divert all available power to engines and forward shields. We're going to give them a surprise they'll never forget. The Hyperion surged forward, weaving through the barrage of plasma fire from the larger vessel. Each hit weakened their shields further, but Maya had seen something in the enemy's attack pattern, a predictability it could be exploited. Their targeting systems are automated, she realized aloud. They're not adjusting for our smaller size and maneuverability. Harrison timed their firing sequence. Helm, on my mark, I want you to cut engines and rotate us 180 degrees. Let them think they've disabled us. The next minute was pure chaos. The Hyperion danced through space, taking hits but closing the distance. When they were less than a kilometer from the Kresh vessel, Maya gave the order. The ship's engines cut out, and they began to drift. They're powering up their main weapon array. Harrison reported tensely. They think they have us. Now, Maya commanded. The Hyperion's thrusters fired in perfect sequence, spinning the ship around while maintaining their momentum toward the enemy vessel. As they passed through the crash ship's shield perimeter, Maya shouted, "Activate the device." Lyra pressed her hand to the crystalline controls they'd integrated into the bridge console. The quantum disruption device hummed to life, its energy feeding through the Hyperion's power systems and erupting from their forward array. The effect was spectacular. A wave of iridescent energy washed over the crash vessel, and where it touched, the mighty warship's armor began to literally phase out of normal spacetime. Systems failed, weapons powered down, and the massive ship began to drift. "Direct hit," Harrison exclaimed. "Their power systems are completely offline. The quantum field has disrupted their entire technological infrastructure." But Maya noticed something wrong immediately. The Hyperion's own systems were fluctuating, power levels dropping across all decks. "Report," she called out. "The device's feedback is affecting our systems," Lyra explained urgently. "We need to get clear before—" She never finished the sentence. A massive energy surge ripped through the ship, knocking out their main power and sending them tumbling through space. Emergency lights kicked in as backup systems engaged. "Status," Maya demanded, picking herself up from the deck. "Main power offline, but backup systems are holding," Rodriguez reported. "The quantum device is, well, it's gone. Burned itself out completely." "The crash vessel?" Maya asked. Harrison checked her readings. "Dead in space. Their primary systems have been completely destroyed at the quantum level. They're not going anywhere." As the crew worked to restore main power, Maya turned to Lyra and Talon. The Nuvari were staring at the drifting crash ship with a mixture of awe and disbelief. "In all our years of fighting them," Talon said quietly, "we never managed to disable one of their ships so completely." "It wasn't just the device," Lyra added. "Your tactics, your willingness to take risks. We would never have thought to use it that way." Maya nodded thoughtfully. "We did this together. Your technology, our strategy. And this is just the beginning." She turned to her communications officer. "Get me Earth Command. Tell them we're going to need a battle fleet. The Kresh need to learn that humanity doesn't take kindly to bullies, and we've just found some friends who can help us teach them that lesson." As repair teams worked to restore the Hyperion systems, Maya knew that this was more than just a victory in battle. It was proof that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its weapons, but its ability to stand up for what was right, to protect those who needed protection, and to face impossible odds with innovation and courage. The Kresh had ruled this sector of space through fear for generations, but they were about to learn that fear wasn't the most powerful force in the universe. That honor belonged to hope, and the beings willing to fight for it. 3 months after the Hyperions encountered with the Kresh scout ship, Earth's response had transformed the entire sector. The Joint Task Force of Earth's most advanced warships had assembled near the border of known space, their crews working alongside Nuvari scientists to integrate crystalline technology with human engineering. The Hyperion, now repaired and upgraded, served as the fleet's command vessel. Captain Maya Chen stood in the newly constructed war room, surrounded by holographic displays showing fleet positions and intelligence reports. Beside her, Lyra and Talon worked with human tactical officers, sharing everything they knew about Kresh battle strategies. "They're coming," Lyra announced, her fingers dancing over the crystalline interface they'd installed. Long-range sensors detect a massive fleet, at least 30 capital ships, including 2 of their dreadnoughts. Maya studied the tactical display grimly. The Kresh had finally decided to deal with the humans who dared to shelter their prey. The task force's 18 ships were outnumbered nearly 2 to 1, but they had something the Kresh didn't expect. Desperation breeds innovation, and the combined ingenuity of human and Nuvari engineers had produced weapons that had never been seen before. All ships, battle stations, Maya ordered through the fleet-wide channel. This is what we've prepared for. Remember your training and trust in each other. These bullies think they can simply erase entire species from existence. Today we show them how wrong they are. The Kresh fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in a perfect attack formation, their massive ships bristling with weapons. Their lead dreadnought, a vessel nearly 5 kilometers long, broadcast a message across all frequencies. Humans, you have sheltered our prey and defied our authority. Your species will now share the fate of all who oppose the Kresh Empire. Prepare for extinction. Maya exchanged glances with Lyra, who nodded. The weeks of preparation had led to this moment. All ships, implement Operation Firewall. Maya commanded. Across the human fleet, new very crystalline matrices activated in sequence, creating a complex web of quantum fields between the ships. The Kresh opened fire, their plasma weapons streaking across space, only to pass harmlessly through the human vessels as if they were ghosts. Phase shift successful, Harrison reported from her station. We're operating 5 microseconds out of sync with normal spacetime. Their conventional weapons can't touch us. But the advantage wouldn't last long. The quantum field generated. The human fleet moved with precision that would have been impossible just months ago. Ships working in pairs, one maintaining a quantum field while the other fired through it, their weapons enhanced by unwavering crystals to pierce Kresh armor. The enemy fleet's perfect formation began to break apart as they struggled to counter attacks coming from what seemed like impossible angles. But the Kresh weren't the most feared species in this sector of space for nothing. Their lead dreadnought suddenly emitted a massive energy pulse that disrupted the quantum fields, forcing the human ships back into normal spacetime. Multiple vessels took heavy damage in the first volley that followed. U.S. Titan is reporting critical damage, Harrison called out. The Jakarta and Moscow have lost shields. Maya gripped her command chair as the Hyperion shuddered under enemy fire. Fall back to secondary positions. Implement contingency plan Omega. The door to the observation dome slid open, admitting an unusual pair, Talon and Kvex, the Kresh ambassador. The massive, armored alien had become a regular presence at the station, working to forge new relationships between the 3 species. The final peace accords are ready for signing, Kvex announced, his translator conveying the complex harmonics of his native speech. My people have agreed to all terms, including the establishment of the Trilateral Council. Maya nodded, remembering the long negotiations that had led to this moment. The Kresh Empire, shaken by their defeat and impressed by humanity's combination of military prowess and mercy, had gradually revealed their own fears. They had been alone among the stars for so long, convinced that their only options were to dominate or be dominated. Humanity had shown them a third path: cooperation, mutual respect, and the strength that comes from diversity. The Trilateral Council would ensure that no species would ever again face extinction, that knowledge and resources would be shared for the benefit of all. There's something else, Kvex continued, his massive form shifting slightly in what Maya had learned was a gesture of respect. My people have begun the process of awakening other species we had placed in stasis. We could not bring ourselves to destroy them, but we feared them. Now, with the Council to mediate, perhaps we can right some of our wrongs. It won't be easy, Maya cautioned. Trust takes time to build, and your people have caused a lot of pain. Yes, Kvex agreed. But your people have shown us that strength can come from protecting others, not just dominating them. We are willing to learn. The station's alert system chimed softly, announcing the arrival of more ships. Through the observation window, Maya watched as vessels of all 3 species emerged from faster-than-light travel, a joint expedition force preparing to explore unknown regions of space together. The Council has approved the first joint exploration mission, Talon announced proudly. Human curiosity, unwavering science, and Kresh protection working together. There are still so many mysteries out there to solve. Maya smiled, remembering that day on the Hyperion when they first discovered the unwavering ship. One act of compassion, one decision to protect the helpless, had changed the course of 3 civilizations. We've received thousands of applications from all 3 species for the exploration program. Lyra added, everyone wants to be part of what comes next. The quantum technology we developed together was just the beginning. Imagine what we can achieve now. As if to emphasize her point, a group of children ran past the observation dome's entrance. Human, Nuvari, and even a young Kresh, playing together without fear or prejudice. They were the first generation that would grow up knowing only peace between their peoples. You know what the best part is? Maya said, watching the children play. We didn't achieve this through overwhelming force or superior technology. We did it by showing that there's always another way, that compassion isn't weakness, and that the strongest alliances are built on trust and mutual respect. The station's lights dimmed briefly as its quantum core cycled, the crystalline technology pulsing with energy. Below, the new Nuvari city gleamed in the dual sunlight, its spires reaching toward the stars. Ships of all 3 species moved through the system, their crews working together to build something unprecedented. A civilization based not on fear or domination, but on cooperation and hope. The universe is vast, Maya continued, and we're stronger together than we ever were apart. That's humanity's gift to the stars, not our technology or our weapons, but our ability to see the best in others and fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. As the 3 of them stood there, watching their peoples work together under the light of alien suns, Maya knew that this was just the beginning. Somewhere out there, other species waited to be discovered, other mysteries needed to be solved, and other wrongs needed to be righted. But now they would face those challenges together. 3 species united by the simple human belief that everyone deserves a chance to reach for the stars.